Hey guys, Meira here. If you've been to Thailand, you know it's the kind of trip where you're constantly moving. You're not just landing and staying put. You're figuring out transportation, pulling up maps, booking ferries, messaging hotels, and finding your way around places you've never been before. And when your phone doesn't work in those moments, everything feels a lot harder than it needs to be. I've been to Thailand twice now in different areas, and one thing became very clear very quickly. Having working data the entire time makes the trip feel a lot simpler. I first used Saily on a trip to Thailand a couple of years ago, and then again in other countries, and this past summer I used it in Thailand again. So in this video, I'm getting into what that experience was actually like there, how coverage held up across different areas, what day-to-day use looked like, and who this makes sense for if you're planning a similar trip. Alright, so if you're not familiar with Saily, it's an eSIM service powered by Nord Security, which is the same company behind NordVPN, one of the world's most trusted digital privacy tools. It's designed to help travelers stay connected in over 200 countries with reliable service. What's crazy is how much Saily has grown. I mean, when I first used it, it was available in about 150 countries, but now it's expanded to over 200, making it even more convenient for global travelers. Not only does it make staying connected easier, but Saily also incorporates features to prioritize your security and privacy while traveling, with tools like ad blockers, web protection, and virtual location routing. It really helps reduce trackers, block intrusive ads, and protect you from malicious websites, all while saving your data. Now, setting it up was very easy. I downloaded the Saily app, picked a data plan that made sense for our trip, and installed the eSIM before we left. The whole thing took a few minutes, and once it was done, there was nothing else to think about. That was the part I really appreciated. I didn't have to touch my physical SIM at all. No swapping cards, no searching around for that tiny SIM tool you never have, and then end up using your earring because you don't have anything else, which ends up breaking. I've done that on multiple trips before I started using eSIMs, and it's just really annoying, especially when you're in a hurry. And so once the eSIM was installed, once we landed, it connected automatically to the local network, and that was it. I didn't have to mess with settings, connect to airport Wi-Fi, or deal with roaming. It was already working when I needed it, and I didn't think about it again for the rest of the trip. And hey, if you decide to try out Saily, I've got an exclusive 15% off discount for you. You can just use the code GVUTech at checkout when downloading the Saily app or visiting Saily's website. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, I've been to Thailand twice now. The first time was almost 2 years ago with my husband, and we had an amazing trip. This time was very different. We were in different areas, and we were traveling with our 2-month-old baby girl. And after a 22-hour travel day, I was completely exhausted. And the last thing I wanted to deal with was finding Wi-Fi or buying a SIM card at the airport. But because I had already activated my Saily eSIM before we landed, I was able to order a taxi to the hotel right away. I mean, that alone made such a difference, especially after a long flight with a baby. What really mattered this trip though was staying connected while we were out and about. I mean, we left our baby at the hotel with a babysitter, and I needed to stay in touch with her throughout the day, as she was sending me updates and photos. And that gave me such peace of mind. Whether we were out walking around, on a day trip, ziplining, or heading out to see different islands, my phone just worked. I didn't have to think about it at all. Another thing I liked was feeling comfortable using public Wi-Fi when I needed to, like at airports, hotels, cafes, because those are all places you end up connecting without really knowing how secure the network really is. But Saily has built-in security features that run in the background, and that gave me peace of mind throughout the trip. The ad blocker helped cut down on the annoying pop-ups and even saved some data. The web protection helped block sketchy websites when I was browsing in open networks, which I used a lot in hotel lounges and restaurants. And the virtual location feature was nice to have when I wanted that extra layer of privacy while traveling. Of course though, it's not perfect. Saily is data only, so calls and texts run through apps like WhatsApp, FaceTime, or Telegram. But that's already how I communicate most of the time anyway, so it really didn't bother me. You do also need to make sure that your phone supports eSIMs, which most newer phones do, but it's something worth checking before you buy it. Oh, and I have to say, one small thing I didn't think I'd care about but actually ended up being really helpful was the data alerts. The app lets you know when you're getting close to your limit, so you're not suddenly cut off in the middle of the day. On longer trips, that just takes another thing you'd otherwise be checking. I also liked knowing that there was a live chat support right inside the app. I didn't need it much, but when I did have a question, it was there. And that matters more when you're in a different time zone and don't want to wait. Alright, so that's all well and good, but how much does Saily cost in Thailand? Saily actually has really reasonable pricing. Plans start at around $3 for a small amount of data, which is fine if you just need maps and messages for a few days. For longer trips, there are bigger options, which cost roughly $5 to $8 for mid-range plans and just under $20 if you want a lot more data for the whole month. On my trips, I usually went with a plan around the 10 to 20 gigabyte range, and that was more than enough for day-to-day stuff like Google Maps, ordering rides, messaging hotels, looking things up, and just using my phone normally throughout the day. They also have regional plans that cover entire areas like Europe or Asia, so you're not constantly switching plans every time you cross a border. It's just one plan that works across multiple countries, which makes things a lot easier if you're moving around. And again, everything's prepaid, so you're only paying for the data you actually need. There are no renewals, no contracts, and no surprises. So after using Saily in Thailand more than once in different areas and on very different trips, I would definitely recommend it. If you're heading to Thailand and you just want one less thing to think about when you land, this does the job really well. Anyway, that'll be all for today's video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And just as a reminder, if you're thinking about trying Saily out, I've got an exclusive 15% off discount for you. Just use the code GVUTech at checkout when downloading the Saily app or visiting Saily's website. And of course, if you've got any questions or suggestions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.